public safety mill levy that is going on the ballot. Now, eventually, there will be an announcement. There is a committee, okay, that is going to take over for the village council, that is going to help do what probably should have been done on previous levies over the past 4 years. They'll become an organized PAC, which allows residents, members of council, any interested party who has a vested interest in the well-being of the village, that they can contribute money. And that PAC can do what the village council cannot do. So what Rob is going to do now is tell you the research he has done. He is going to advise us as members of council what we can and cannot do. And I'll just turn it over to him. Go ahead, Rob.
So if you could provide factual information, stay away from being persuasive, explain to people we're going to get rid of this or get rid of that if we don't pass the levy, the fear mongering, that kind of stuff. Strictly factual information that can be fact checked, obviously, and nothing. You're not supposed to do anything as a employee while working or elected member of and public entity, but you guys are council members, you're council members who go home too. So you just want to steer clear of any persuasive or information that's not totally true in attempts to try to push the levy. I think that the fact, along with the information provided, it's strictly factual, is going to be the best way to go. I spoke to Scott Solomon from North Bend about it. I spoke to the attorneys and the administrator at Orange Township, and I used to be involved in the levies as a police officer at Springfield Township. I had to do anything I did on my own time. So that's the real big thing. Nothing can be funded or financed by Village of Cleves or anybody's time can be financed by the village. So more or less, if there's any question, don't do it. And that's really the safest. And if there's any question, don't say it. That's
Should we or should we not voice how we feel about the levy?
And there's nothing that says you can't. But anytime even the difference between being an employee of the village versus an elected official, employees are off at times. So they can knock on doors, explain things, and be persuasive. Err on the side of caution.
In other words, like on a public forum, like Westgate subdivision, we have our own webpage. It would be ill-advised for me to say that I would vote or I would not vote for this levy.
Yeah, I would stay away from something that's specific. I would stay away from something that's specific.
Okay.
You can say the good things that the levy can bring, provided those factual. You can't say, well, we get rid of this if we didn't pass this, or we fix your street if we pass it, or we won't fix your street if we don't pass it. I mean, that kind of stuff. Anything.
Any other questions?
I had something happen, with the levies, and like I said, the guy did away with all the levies. So we had to get levies. Well, and I didn't there was something given to every resident. I didn't get one. Our group didn't get one. I asked the mayor why we didn't get one. She said, because you live down there and nobody votes.
Who is she?
Jan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I said, how can you say that? And she said it right in the council room. And I said, Jan, that made me mad. Yeah, she said, you all don't vote down there anyway. And that's the way it went for a long time. That's why none of the levies got passed, because there wasn't information out on them, for one thing. And another thing is they say stuff like that.
Well, you won't hear that from this group, so.
Well, I understand this group. That group back there, that was a whole different story.
I was gone, so I don't remember.
Oh, I know.
Any other questions from council members about what you can and cannot do? Let me say one thing that Rob gets. You certainly can't be in this room in a meeting. We can make it available to the PAC to meet, but you can't physically be in this room with them. You just can't. So my suggestion to you is, and Rob and I talked a little bit about this, about what we can provide and how can we provide. Okay. Cindy Ozer and I met the other day about creating a fact sheet. Okay. Jerry did a marvelous job. Jerry Meister, who's not here tonight, did a marvelous job pulling together a fact sheet. The problem is, it wasn't sent out until right before the levy. That was really when many people first found out a levy was even on the ballot. We've done plenty of communication that is coming, okay? And I can tell you that the committee that has been assembled will do a good job of getting the information out. We can provide information. Is there anything else we can do besides just provide information?
Factual information. And I mean, as the elected officials, you want to stay away from stuff that goes further than that. I mean, benefits of can be factual, but they need to be strictly factual.
Would you suggest that we run that past you first?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead, Dale.
I would think Cindy would probably be a primary source of good info, correct, accurate information. Can she be approached for information, for factual information?
Yeah, I mean, she could be approached for factual information at public record request. Because if it's a public record kept and it's factual, it could be
I
out.
don't want to cause any,
Just can't.
or sure you won't go.
Can't go remember it.
Well, why don't you ask Rob that question, because I'd like everybody to hear that and we get him on the record publicly, legal advice as to what you would think.
Yeah. So one of the things that the mayor and I would like to do, if it's within the boundaries, is have a handful of sessions, maybe coffee or breakfast at one of our local establishments, or lunch at Skyline, where him and I are there. We put it out. We'll be there from 9, 10 a.m. or noon to 1. Sit down with us if you have any questions, and we will give you facts of it. Is that?
I believe that is okay from past experience and the law. Let me clarify. Thank you.
I think you guys would just have to be really careful about how you answer some of those questions.
Or say you can't answer, that's outside of our scope, we can only do the following.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're out there explaining what we're doing, why we're doing. We're going to stay within the framework of law. And I know at the last meeting, and I really appreciated what was said about our transparency. We are trying our hardest to be transparent with our residents. We don't want to give them this information. We want them to have the information before they arrive here, okay? That's why on this week in the village, all the ordinance, all the resolutions, the agenda, is all out there. And that's gonna continue to be out there as long as I'm mayor, because our citizens have a right to know. They have a right. They should come here. If they disagree with something we're looking at, they should come here and express that. I know there's been lots of questions over why I do that, because it does open us up for people to come in and say, we don't like that. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Aaron, you sat through many a council meeting. Did you really ever know what they were voting on? The answer to that is no, you didn't. Because everybody else up here knew, and so you understand, it isn't any different over in Miami Township or in Addison or in North Bend, okay? Everybody knows on council what they're talking about. The citizens don't know what you're talking about. You gotta talk about it openly. That's what we're trying to do here at Place Ohio. Any other questions?
Are you ready for a motion to adjourn?
I am.
I make that motion.
Motion to adjourn by Mrs. Bolton. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion? Please hold here until we're finished. Any last time could not even hear the roll call. Eddie, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline.
Yes.
Ms. Meyer, Mr. Babel,
Yay!
Ms. Bolton.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone.